Hallelujah. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of the world, friends, foes, and enemies alike. This is Pastor Dow, and I'm here with End Time Perspective number 3. I'm ecstatic, elated, happy that we're getting some people that are actually paying attention. After all, you know, I often quote an old wise proverb, and it says, "A wise man foreseeth the evil day coming, and he prepares his house." Now, my question is how wise have you been? Well, I remember in 1995, I stood up in the pulpit, and this was during the Clinton era, when Clinton was president, and I noticed that they was trying to sell this free trade thing, GAFTA, CAFTA, NAFTA, all these alphabet soup organizations, you know, these free trade agreements with all these other countries, the G8, G20, and all this other stuff, all, you know, to the American public. And of course, the American public was biting on it hook, line, and sinker, because hardly anybody got on there and opposed it with their modern day politicians. And I told the people in the pulpit, I said, well, you know, the lifestyle that I grew up in, or the time or the era that I grew up in the 80s, the 70s and the 80s, you know, those days are gone. Those days are gone. The prosperity, or whatever if you want to call it prosperity, the United States is over with. And I told the people, you might as well just get ready. They're getting ready to outsource the majority of the jobs. You give it anywhere from 10 to 15 years. Pretty soon you're going to start watching all of our industrial jobs go overseas. Because of this free trade agreement, you're going to start watching America go into bankruptcy. Our dollar is not going to be worth anything. As a matter of fact, it's not, because we live in what you call a debt-based society, or we have a debt-based economy. Now, what that means is, and I'm going to give it to you, try as easy and simple as I possible in banking terms, so I can try at least get you to understand what money really truly is. This right here is what you call, you know, at least is what they got you believing is money. This thing right here. This is a $100 bill. Now, what our institutions have pulled the wool over the American public and taught them is that for every $100 that you put into the bank can loan out up to 10 times that amount. That's called fractional reserve banking. And so what does that mean? That means that the only way that this economy can continue to prosper is we continue to go more and more and more and more and more in debt. That's why they will never balance the budget. It will never happen. What I do foresee taking place is, because we have so much debt and we're so much in debt with all these other countries, especially China, a war is going to have to take place, because I see the United States of America defaulting on this. And then it was like 5 years after that, in 2000, I started talking about, everybody over here in this side of the pond. And I mean, I'm talking about Canada, America, and Mexico, and all these other little small islands. They're going to have to come up pretty much with their own independent currency, just like the euro did. And I said it'd probably be something like the Amero. And I was just joking around and stuff. I really didn't pay too much attention about the name I was giving to it. And little did I know that concept had already been out there. And so what we have today, well, I'll tell you what we have today. We have a shock that's literally going on. You can go to college and go to school, and all these jobs that used to be available to you, they're not there anymore. You'll see the majority of college degree people working at the minimum wage jobs, and the older people working at these jobs that no longer the children can get today, or the teenagers and the young adults can get today. I'm tell you the reason why. Because they're simply not there. So what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to, and this is what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to learn how to learn self-preservation for yourself. Your churches, your preachers, your pastors, your elders, and all the rest of these people out here with this prosperity gospel and stuff, they're all in debt, every single one of them. The only ones that are not in debt is all the money that they give to the prosperity preachers like T.D. Jakes and Creflo Dollar and Benny Hinn and TBN, and man, they're hand over fist. They're making money. I mean, they're making money by the thousands every single day. About the thousands they've got money. You know what? And your ship has never come in. I'm going to tell you something too. It ain't going to never come in either. So you need to start personally learning how to protect yourself from the impending coming economic crash. And what I'm talking about is a bank holiday. A bank holiday is when the banks are going to actually close up their doors, and they're going to take all the money that the American people have trusted these institutions with, and all of a sudden you're not going to have any money in the bank anymore. And they're going to tell you what they're going to give you. It's probably going to be something like a 3-to-1 ratio. Let's say if you have $300,000 in the bank, by the time they get finished with it, you may have $100,000 in the bank. Now, what outcry you think that's going to send throughout the world, especially the United States of America? Well, it's going to send out a great outcry. Well, what about us, the Israelites? What should we be doing? Well, I'll tell you what we did this morning. This morning we loaded up a bull, and we are getting ready to butcher him. And we're probably going to have anywhere between 800 and 1,000 pounds of beef. We're talking about T-bone steaks, sirloins, top sirloins, hamburger of all different types of sorts and stuff. You know the reason why? Because we tried to keep anywhere between, not much, but anywhere between 8 and 15 head of cattle always on hand, grass-fed, because we know what's in them. We don't put chemicals on our lawns and stuff. We don't put chemicals on our fields, so we know what's in our people. You know, the irony of this, all this is that you people are still trusting that this system and this economy is going to change and turn around. It's not. As long as they keep on having these so-called stimulus packages, creating more debt and borrowing from your future, you can forget about it. It's not going to ever happen. So you need to start getting with people of like mind, people who you can trade with, the people who have the same mind, because those grocery stores are going to stop one day. Those trucks that are coming to those grocery stores, they're going to stop. You've got to change your way of thinking. You cannot continue to depend upon a ship that is sinking. That's what this economy is. That's what America is. And well, no matter how much warning, the Bible talks about there are 5 wise and there are 5 foolish virgins at the coming of the Lord. And you know what? There's some of us today. Some of us are wise and some of us just as foolish as hell. And that's all there's to it. And we're going to be that way. And most of us, because we've trusted in a system that you cannot put any confidence in, you're going to perish because you have not prepared your minds and your heart. Number one, you have not been serving the Most High, and He's not at the first of your mind like He should be, so that you can be taught these things. Well, we grow our own food. We have our own greenhouses and stuff, and we don't suffer from a lot of stuff that these American people are suffering from out here. And I remember when this storm came through here a few years ago, we was out of electricity for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. We had a hot meal every single day, didn't miss a beat, and didn't have to run to the grocery stores either like most people do. You know what happens when it starts? Hey, they predict it's getting ready to snow in the area. What takes place? Everybody runs to the grocery store anticipating that they can store up enough food for however long the snow is going to be. What you going to do with this crazy weather, the way it's going on right now, it's burning up on these coasts, flooding on the West Coast. And what you going to do when in some of the places here in America get 4 and 5 foot of snow where it totally paralyzes everything and you can't go nowhere? You see, when the ship is sinking, the first thing you do is you unload yourself of the thing that is weighing you down the most. And some of you people need to get rid of your homes because you don't own them anyway. You don't own them anyway. You're putting your money in a bag with holes. Well, I think in the next video, End Time Perspective number 4, I'll talk to you about wisdom and what you should do. And that is the truth straightway. Hallelujah. I hope you learned something. Anyway, we're trying. The King is coming.